Have you ever noticed the difference between how you respond and how another person responds when there's an upset in the relationship? I'm sure you have noticed this because probably when you have seen how the other person responds, then for you, it's to say the least confusing. And probably it's also hurtful. And maybe it's even scary. Well, today we are going to talk about relationship styles, or you might call them attachment styles. And I want to help you to gain an awareness of what it is that's going on inside of you when there's an upset within your relationships, and also to understand what might be going on inside of the other person. Now, why this will help you is then you will be more able to resolve conflict easier and to enjoy deeper and more satisfying relationships. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Tanya Kordenbrock. I am the person behind arenewedlife.com. Now, I worked for years as a therapist, but now I am an online emotions coach through my Mastering Emotions program. And I hope that today you will stay tuned till the end because I have a free resource for you that's going to help you even further to understand what it is that's going on inside of you when you are upset within a relationship. Now, as we get started, let's look at first what attachments are and what attachment styles are and what this means exactly. So the word attachment is basically referring to how you connect with others in order to get your emotional needs met. Now, this term attachment theory comes from the work of Doctors John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth years ago, and studies that they did in observing children. And there are four main styles, attachment styles, that they have named. One of those is a secure attachment style where you feel secure in yourself, you feel more whole, and you are capable of being within conflict, having unsettling emotions, being able to resolve that, to come back to a place of joy and confidence and peace. Now, there are three others that mainly are people have different names for them. They all allude to whether you feel anxious or whether you avoid conflict, or if you have a mix between those. So where did your attachment style come from? How did you learn this? Well, you weren't just born with it. It actually developed within you based on the level of care that you received as an infant and in your early childhood. Now, what makes a difference in this is whether not just that you were loved, but how that love was shown, or whether or not it was shown. So, if the environment in which you were in, first of all, was safe, that would make a huge difference. And then also if those around you were attentive to your emotional state and showed that they cared about that you were crying, that you were upset, that you were fearful, that you were angry. All of this is going to convey some very basic beliefs that shape how you then respond when your emotional needs aren't being met. Now, those beliefs are going to be about yourself and also about others, including God, and then just about life in general and how life works, your capability of obtaining good and happiness in life or not. And so your beliefs about yourself, whether you are worthy of being loved or not, whether you are capable of getting what it is that you need from others and what you need in life. Your beliefs about others, are other people basically safe? Do other people, overall, do they care about others? Do they care about you so that if you express to them that you are hurt, will they come and help you? Will they even pay attention? Will they care? And then also, are they capable? Are other people capable of making a difference? And so, as I said, this also gets reflected onto our beliefs about God and whether He can truly love us, or if He will pay attention when we are upset, or if He's just far off and doesn't hear us, doesn't care. Or if He is capable of doing something, or if He kind of just has left us on our own and isn't really doing anything about our prayers or about our hurts and our concerns. Your attachment style is going to determine two main things and how you respond within a relationship when there's conflict. It's going to determine if you are going to move forward in a pursuit of the other person in an attempt to resolve the conflict, or if you are going to withdraw and avoid conflict in order to bring peace to the relationship. So if you are someone who fears abandonment, you get fearful that the other person doesn't really love you, you feel unheard, that the other person just never listens to you and never shows that they care, then you are probably the type, you have the attachment style that is going to pursue. So probably what you have noticed about yourself then is that when you get upset, when you're feeling this way, what you do is you try to get the other person's attention. You want them to hear you. So you will say the same thing over and over to them. You might even become louder and louder just to get their attention, to get them to hear you. Now, another way this can come across, which would seem like, I'm trying to push you away, but it's not. It's trying to get you to see me, to hear me, and that is to criticize. And when you are critical, then that is that attempt to be seen and to be heard and to get an understanding from the other person that they actually care about your feelings and your position in this whole matter. Now, as I said, you may be the type of person who is avoidant. And if this is you, then you can probably understand, that the feeling of just feeling overwhelmed when there's an argument going on and when this person that you care about is so upset with you and it feels like it's all your fault and that you can't do anything right, you don't know how to resolve it, and you just want peace. Like, can't we just go back to everything being all nice and settled and having fun again? And so you respond then by withdrawing, and that can be in different ways. A lot of times it can be by first of all, it's leaving the area. So if you're having an argument in the kitchen, you would walk away into the living room and then you would become engrossed in something else. You would begin, scrolling on your phone, looking at Facebook, or you might, begin watching YouTube videos, or you might just turn on the TV and begin watching a program, watching some sports, something that's going to grab your attention, you're going to just immerse yourself in. So this is kind of an escape from what is going on in the relationship. Now, there are other ways to do that also. You can immerse yourself in your children and what's going on in their lives. You can immerse yourself in the problems of someone else and fixing them. You could also immerse yourself in your work so that, you're just swamped with your work and you just don't have time to be having these arguments and discussing this problem, and can't you just resolve it, and can't we just move on? So these are the two different styles that you're mainly going to notice. Now also there is a style that kind of just goes back and forth between the two, and that will those can sometimes escalate into some violence or some really, really hurtful words, or just totally cutting the other person off. So this is going to have some more extremes. That type of style normally stems from a childhood where your primary caregivers, mainly your parents, were not safe, where the very people who were supposed to be loving you were actually dangerous to you. Attachment refers to the way in which we connect with others, so our attachment style is the way in which we are going to get our emotional needs met from others. These attachment styles, there are 4 different ways, but 3 of them are show up in relationships as causing trouble. And they are based on our beliefs. They're learned in childhood, and they are based on our beliefs about ourselves, whether we are worthy of love and whether we are capable of getting what we need from others in life. And also our beliefs about others, whether others are safe, whether others can care for us, whether they will come when we call, and whether they are capable or not, or if it's pointless to tell them our problems because they're just not going to do anything about it. Now, there are 2 main ways that we handle this in what could be termed unhelpful ways. So with our attachment styles, one way is to pursue the other person, and then the other way is to avoid conflict. In pursuing, we are more aggressive. We go toward the other person. We are trying to get the situation resolved. We're trying to get clarity. We're trying to be heard. If you are a withdrawer, an avoidant person, then you withdraw in some way. You might leave the room. You'll get immersed in something else, in a hobby, in work, in other people, in such a way that you won't have to feel those uncomfortable emotions of the conflict. Okay, so how does this help you to know about these styles, and how will it help you to be able to resolve conflict better and to have, be able to enjoy deeper relationships? Well, first of all, you need to understand your own style and be aware of, gain this conscious awareness of what is going on inside of you when you are not feeling loved, or you're not feeling heard, when you're feeling fearful that the relationship is pulling apart, or if you are feeling overwhelmed and you just don't know how to resolve what's going on and you don't know what to do about it. Notice this that is happening inside of you. Notice how this response pattern, as we call it in my Mastering Emotions program, how this response pattern is arising within you, that these beliefs about yourself, these beliefs about others and what they cause you to do, and these emotions that you're feeling. So when you can do that, that will give you some more control over them, your behaviors and your responses, but also take the time to consider how the other person that you're in conflict with, how they have learned how to handle conflict themselves. It's not their fault, just like it's not your fault. It's just the way that this developed within you from childhood and what surrounded you, the environment that you grew up in. Okay, so when you consider the other person's response style, that will help you to understand better what is going on, and you won't misinterpret it, be as likely to misinterpret their responses. So if you are a person who pursues, then you may notice that the other person considers that you get too emotional, that you're never pleased with them, and that you just won't leave them alone. You won't let matters go. And so when you hear them say that, then you can, instead of interpreting, really believing what it is that they're saying about you, you can understand that really what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring back some calm to the relationship and calm the anxiety within themselves so that they can be able to feel like they're acceptable to you, and that you do love them, and that you consider them capable of having a relationship with. Now also, if you are a person who avoids conflict, if you withdraw and you get overwhelmed, and you may notice from your spouse or from your friend, from your mother, your siblings or whatever, that they just tend to just be poking the bear all the time, like trying to rile you up, and you can't understand, like, get away from me. All you're doing is making me more upset here. I don't want to get so upset with you that I'm going to attack you. I just, I want us to have a good relationship. And so you can understand that going on within yourself, but also, instead of interpreting the other person as being just totally dissatisfied with you and believing that you're no good or that you're not capable, then you can begin looking at how the way in which this pursuer is acting actually means that they are feeling insecure, or that they are feeling unheard, or that they just need you to comfort them. The goal then would be so that the two of you can come together and be heard, to hear what the other one is experiencing, to see how the way in which your attachment style plays out is landing on the other person, triggering their own attachment style, and then that's coming across on landing on you. So you want to be able to stay present with each other in such a way that the other one can hear and will listen. That way you can resolve the real conflict, not this superficial issue that you think you're fighting about, but the real conflict of what's going on inside and what's going on between us within our relationship. And also, as you continue to do that, then you will have a deeper and more satisfying relationship with this person. I hope that you found this helpful today. Let me know if you understood what I was talking about and if you gained any new insights from this, because I hope that you did. And also, don't forget that I have a free resource for you. This is my guide for overcoming fear and anxiety, and it will help you to be able to calm your own anxiety and to become more conscious of what it is that's going on inside of you and then how this is coming out in your behaviors. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.